Hey Army, welcome back to this channel. Okay, you need to sit down right now, or if you're standing, grab onto something solid, because today's video is not your average video. We're talking about one moment that made the entire planet freeze for a few seconds. We're talking about one figure who, even if only half his face appears on screen, can already make worldwide trending. We're talking about Park Jimin and his absolutely insane blonde visual in the Swim MV from BTS's comeback album, Ararang. March 20th, 2026 became a date that millions of ARMY around the world will never be able to forget. And today, we're going to break down everything, from the very first second Jimin appeared on screen, to ARMY's reactions that literally crashed servers, to why Jimin's blonde visual in the Ararang era is being called the most iconic in K-pop history. If you're ready, let's go? Guys, before we talk about Jimin specifically, we need to understand just how massive this comeback moment really was. BTS officially announced their comeback on January 4th, 2026, through big hit music, with a new album and an accompanying world tour. And this was no ordinary comeback. This was the return of BTS after all 7 members completed their mandatory military service in South Korea, something that millions of ARMY around the world had been waiting for over years. The album title was then announced on January 15th, Ararang, inspired by a traditional Korean folk song synonymous with themes of longing, identity, and separation. Big Hit Music stated that Ararang captures BTS's identity as a group born in Korea. Imagine that, guys. This isn't just an album. This is a cultural statement. This is BTS telling the entire world, we're back. And we're back in full force. The Ararang album is BTS's 5th studio album and their first full group release after nearly 3 years and 9 months of absence. And the track chosen as the title track, Swim. Jimin himself explained the meaning of the song in pre-release comments, describing it as reflecting BTS's current mindset. Still keep moving forward despite facing various challenges. More than 3 years of waiting, guys. More than 3 years of ARMY being patient, supporting from afar, sending love through screens. And now, they're back. All 7. Including Park Jimin with his blonde hair that has been driving the world absolutely crazy since September 2025. Okay, we need to flash back briefly to September 2025, because that's where all of this truly began. Jimin was first spotted with blonde hair, square glasses, and an all-black outfit at the Moon Party Seoul 2025 on September 4th. Shortly after his photos spread, blonde Jimin exploded as a global trending topic at number 27. And ARMY's reaction? Total chaos. Positive, of course, but chaos. One fan on X wrote, "Jimin is blonde, he's wearing his fancy glasses, he's dressed pretty, we're so back." And that sentence instantly became a kind of battle cry for ARMY all around the world. The hashtag #BlondeJimin trended on X within minutes of his photos going viral. The 29-year-old radiated a star power that only he could possess, reminding the world why he is a global and cultural icon. No one could deny it. Jimin and blonde hair is a combination that is literally too powerful for this world. This wasn't the first time he'd gone with this color. With blonde hair, beige knitwear, and slacks, Jimin managed to create an unmatched atmosphere, blending youthful freshness and mature sophistication into one stunning frame. But that was just the warm-up, guys. Because what happened in the Swim MV in March 2026, that was a completely different level. That wasn't just trending anymore. That was time itself stopping. March 20th, 2026, 1 p.m. Korea Standard Time. The seconds counting down to the release of the Swim MV felt like a rocket launch countdown. And then play. The Swim MV was released on March 20th, 2026 at 1 p.m. Korea Standard Time and surpassed 5 million YouTube views within the first hour alone, immediately trending number 1 globally on both YouTube and X. 5 million views in 1 hour. Guys, that's not an ordinary number. That is history. That is proof that the entire planet literally stopped what they were doing to watch 7 Korean men sailing across the ocean while simultaneously making everyone cry and go hysterical at the same time. The Swim MV was directed by acclaimed Spanish filmmaker Tanu Bueno and starred American actress Lily Reinhardt. It was a breathtaking cinematic experience, an epic drama at sea, filmed aboard a large sailing ship in Lisbon, Portugal. Imagine the visuals, guys. A massive sailing ship, an endless stretching ocean, a dramatic sky, and these 7 men, RM, Jin, Suga, jhope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook, standing on deck with an aura that literally made gravity feel different. The video opened with a large ship sailing across a boundless ocean. A woman aboard faced difficulties and struggled under a heavy burden. All 7 BTS members appeared as guiding figures, steering the ship, raising the anchor, and supporting her in silence without a single word. And in the middle of all of that, there was Jimin, with his golden blonde hair gleaming under the Lisbon sunlight, with his deep, emotion-filled gaze, with the way he moved his body, even when simply standing still, that felt like a dance in itself. ARMY immediately lost every last shred of composure they had left. Online, the BTS Swim MV triggered a massive wave of reactions, with fans praising its emotional depth, vocals, and cinematic visuals. The release quickly became a major talking point across multiple platforms. Okay, now we get into the part you've all been waiting for. Let's break down Jimin's visual in Swim, frame by frame, because every single second of his presence in this MV is a masterpiece in its own right. First frame, the arrival. The moment Jimin first appeared on screen in the Swim MV, there was a kind of collective pause that happened all over the world. His perfectly styled golden blonde hair, glowing under the golden hour light of Lisbon, instantly became the main topic of conversation. This wasn't just a hair color, this was an aesthetic statement. Blonde equals Jimin returning to his most iconic form, to the era where he dominated every frame he stepped into. Facial expressions. One of the things that sent ARMY into the most hysterics was Jimin's facial expressions throughout the MV. The BTS members were present as steadfast guiding figures, offering support and strength. And the visuals conveyed universal themes of hope and resilience, not through performative display, but through BTS's signature artistic storytelling. And Jimin? He took all of that to the next level. Every gaze from his eyes carried a depth that could make people cry without even knowing why. Every smile of his felt like a guarantee that everything would be okay. Body language and screen presence. What sets Jimin apart from any other performer in the world is his screen presence. Even when he's simply walking across the ship's deck or standing still gazing out at the ocean, your eyes automatically lock onto him. This isn't a coincidence. This is the result of years of training, dedication, and natural talent that he has carried since the very beginning. The combination of Lily Reinhardt's performance, Tanu Muino's direction, and the emotional weight of BTS's return as a complete group made Swim a work that far exceeded all expectations. But let's be honest, for ARMY, there was one element that was mentioned and re-mentioned the most across comment sections, Twitter threads, and TikTok reaction videos. Jimin with his blonde hair on that magnificent ship is an image that will live in ARMY's collective memory forever. The iconic moment, Jimin and the 7-color rainbow. RM posted behind-the-scenes photos on his Instagram showing all 7 BTS members standing side by side on the ship, while a 7-colored rainbow floated behind them, a symbol that instantly went viral and made fans cry. And in that photo, Jimin stood with his shining blonde hair, the only member whose hair was literally glowing beneath that rainbow. If that isn't cinema, I don't know what is. Guys, if you want to know just how big the impact of Jimin's visual in Swim really was, let's just look at the numbers. The Swim MV accumulated more than 36 million YouTube views in just the first 24 hours, while simultaneously topping trending charts worldwide. 36 million. In one day? This isn't just K-pop. This is a global cultural phenomenon. The video became the most liked MV on YouTube in 2026 in less than 3 hours after its release. On X, threads about Jimin were sprouting up like mushrooms after rain. From threads cataloging every single moment he appeared on screen, to threads containing nothing but screenshots of his face from every possible angle, all of them racking up hundreds of thousands of likes and reposts. TikTok? Pure chaos. Reaction videos emerged from every corner of the world. From Jakarta to Seoul, from London to Sao Paulo, from Lagos to Los Angeles. Everyone was reacting to the same thing. That first moment Jimin appeared with his blonde hair on that majestic ship. And the comment that appeared most frequently? Variations of the same sentence. How can one person be this perfect? ARMY around the world didn't hold back either. Trending sections everywhere were flooded with Jimin's name, the swim hashtag, and Ararang. Fans organized virtual watch parties, streaming marathons, and some even spontaneously created fan projects in the middle of the night, simply because they were too overwhelmed seeing Jimin return in such full visual glory like this. One Twitter user wrote, "I can't sleep. I've rewatched the Swim MV 17 times. Every time I reach a Jimin scene, I start crying all over again from the beginning." That's not hyperbole, guys. That's a very real ARMY experience. Maybe some people are wondering, why does Jimin's blonde hair cause this much of a reaction? It's just a hair color, right? No, absolutely not. To understand this, we need to understand the relationship between Jimin and his aesthetic identity. Jimin isn't just an attractive idol. He is a visual artist who is fully conscious of every single aspect of his appearance. Every style choice he makes always carries meaning, always has context, always tells a story. Jimin's blonde hair has historically always been a marker of a new era. This wasn't the first time Jimin had drawn attention with golden-colored hair. Back in December 2022, when Jimin began his mandatory military service, a few golden strands were visible peeking out from beneath the beanie he was wearing. And every time he returns to blonde, the world reacts the same way, pausing for a moment, staring, and then realizing just how difficult it is to look away. But in the context of the Ararang comeback and the Swim MV, Jimin's blonde hair carries an even deeper layer of meaning. Against the dark blue ocean, aboard a majestic ship, his golden blonde hair became a point of light, a symbol of hope, like the beam of a lighthouse cutting through a storm. Did JiminWho, the visionary director, intentionally take advantage of this? We can't know for certain, but what's certain is, the result was absolutely extraordinary. Jimin radiated a star power that only he could possess, reminding the world why he is a global icon and a cultural icon. And in Swim, all of that felt more powerful than ever before, because this is a Jimin who has been through military service, who has grown, who has matured, yet still arrives with the same energy that made millions of people fall in love with him years ago. This isn't just blonde Jimin. This is blonde Jimin who has become the very best version of himself. We can't talk about Swim without talking about the Ararang album as a whole, because this MV is merely the doorway into a work that is far, far greater. Ararang is a hip-hop and pop album with 14 tracks that opens with Body to Body, a song that samples the traditional Korean folk song, Ararang, itself. The album involved a lineup of world-class producers, Diplo, Kevin Parker of Tame Impala, Mike Will Made It, and Ryan Tedder. Ararang's 14 tracks filled the top 14 spots of Spotify's global top 50 chart on its first day. The album received a total of 110 million streams on the service, making for the most first-day Spotify streams for any 2026 album so far. 110 million streams in a single day, guys. A number that's almost impossible to wrap your head around. And Jimin, as one of BTS's lead vocalists, made a hugely significant contribution to this album. The track, Hooligan, features choppy string arrangements against sword clangs and sky-high vocals from V and Jimin. Following the album's release, BTS held a concert at Gwangwon Square in Seoul. The concert was streamed exclusively on Netflix, marking the first time a concert had ever been live-streamed on the platform. The live stream attracted 18.4 million global viewers, reached the Netflix weekly top 10 in 80 countries, and ranked number 1 in 24 countries. And the news that's sure to make ARMY everywhere scream with joy. BTS will kick off the Ararang World Tour starting April 2026 through March 2027. A world tour, a full year, 7 members, on stage, together. Guys, to truly appreciate Jimin's visual and Swim, we need to look at his complete journey. During BTS's hiatus period, Jimin released 2 solo albums, Face in 2023 and Muse in 2024. Both albums were deeply personal works, Jimin exploring sides of himself that had long been hidden behind his idol persona. And then came military service, a period of quiet that left millions of ARMY with nothing but hope and waiting. But as Jimin has always said, in every song, in every message, he always keeps moving forward, always swimming ahead, no matter how big the waves get. And that's exactly why the moment he appeared in the Swim MV with his perfectly golden blonde hair was so deeply emotional for so many ARMY. This wasn't just a handsome idol returning to screens. This was a human being who had been through a long journey, coming back stronger than ever before. Jimin explained that the meaning of Swim reflects BTS's current mindset, still keep moving forward despite challenges coming one after another. And when he said those words, every ARMY who heard them knew that wasn't just the philosophy behind a song. That was his life and every single member of BTS. There's one question that often comes from people who haven't yet gotten to know BTS and ARMY. Why do you care so much about an idol's visuals? And the answer goes much deeper than it appears on the surface. For ARMY, Jimin's visual, especially in the context of Swim and Ararang, isn't simply about being pretty or handsome. It is the representation of a promise kept. A promise that no matter how long the separation lasts, they will return. They will stand on that ship. They will look into the camera with eyes full of meaning. They will remind us why we fell in love with them in the first place. This work highlights BTS's unique ability to blend cultural roots with forward-looking messages, sparking widespread discussion and deep interpretation within the ARMY community. And Jimin, with his iconic blonde hair, is the face of all of that. This isn't about hair. This isn't just about physical appearance. This is about the meaning behind every detail, intentionally chosen by an artist with full awareness to communicate something to the millions of people who love him. Guys, that was our complete breakdown of Jimin, his blonde visual, and the extraordinary impact the Swim MV had on the world. From going globally trending in September 2025 when his blonde photos first spread, to the historic moment in March 2026 when the Swim MV shattered every record and Jimin arrived more stunning than ever before. This entire journey proves one thing. Park Jimin is not just an idol. He is a phenomenon, an Ararang. This is only the beginning. There's still an entire world tour ahead, touching cities across the globe. There are still so many moments coming that will make us cry, laugh, and go hysterical all at the same time. If you haven't watched the Swim MV yet, what are you waiting for? Close this video, open YouTube, search BTS Swim Official MV, and prepare to experience for yourself why the world stopped on March 20th, 2026. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. Drop it in the comments. Which Jimin moment in the Swim MV made you the most hysterical? I'm genuinely curious. See you in the next video, ARMY. Purple you. Purple heart.